Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Brad from Carolina Tactical Training, and let's talk a little bit this morning on concealed carry permits. Yes, it is August of 2024, and South Carolina has become a constitutional carry state. I'm sitting in the office this morning, checking emails, doing my normal morning routine, trying to get information out there. And I keep getting questions about why do I need a permit? I hear it when people come in the gun shop, things like that. Why do I need a permit? Well, this is why you need a permit. There's a legal requirement for you to understand the law. Yes, constitutional carry. Let's talk a little bit about what constitutional carry is. It just means that the Second Amendment says that you can carry. It means that the Constitution says you can carry. But it doesn't teach you the legal use of force. It doesn't teach you when and when you can't carry your firearm or your weapon. So that's one reason why that concealed carry permit is important. Is at least you've gone through a class, regardless of the level of class that you talk to, whether you go to ABC Firearms or JBA Firearms or XYZ Firearms Instruction, whoever you go to, at least there's a basic knowledge of the legal use of force, where you can and can't carry, and some basic firearms fundamentals, things that SLED, don't get me wrong, I don't agree with SLED very often, but it's where you can get that baseline knowledge. So, do I like constitutional carry? I like the way the law was changed in certain ways. I.e., example, a kid can go and serve his country and die for his country, but couldn't legally carry a firearm. But yet, if he goes overseas, he can. What does that mean? Why was that? That's bullshit. So just some thought process of that there made sense to me. But to me, there's still a training element that needs to be had, because the legal use of force is a huge thing. So many times I hear people in classes or at the storefront or wherever talking where their thought process of what the lawful use of force is, if they used force in the manner they're talking about, they're going to go to jail. So having that baseline class, at least to get a perspective of what the law says, so that way you can then understand a little bit about it and then research it and get more knowledge on it, or take another class to get another perspective. Because I always tell people, hey, if you come take our concealed carry class, go take this other person's concealed carry class too. Get some different perspectives, because not all instructors are that. And what I think muddied the waters too much with the concealed carry program, especially here in South Carolina, is just the fact that there were certain parts mandated that said, you know what, you got to cover this in class. And when you cover this in class, if the person successfully passes this test, then that means that they can carry a firearm. But what the heck does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. That just means you have one perspective. When it comes down to it, the only qualification is going to be when you in court, when you use force, and the jury either finds you guilty or not guilty. That's really the ultimate test. So have you prepared yourself for that? Without having a permit, or at least a level of training to start your training pathway, then how can you prove that in court? So that's a little bit of my take on constitutional carry. The other thing too is understanding your legal knowledge and responsibilities, and I just talked about it briefly, is understanding what the law says, understanding the alter ego rule, understanding the castle doctrine, understanding stand your ground, understanding the defense of others, understanding the defense of property. That's key. And as much as I am a supporter of the Second Amendment doesn't teach that. It just says you have the right to keep and bear arms with a well-regulated militia. I can't talk this morning. But it's, what does that really mean? And that's where it's key. That's where it's key for you to have some level of training. Safety and proficiency. Some classes are and what I'm seeing with the industry right now is there's a certain hour rule that students will only commit to a certain amount of training at a time. So what we've done at Carolina Tactical Training, we've broken our program up, and there's another video coming about what our program's all about. And what that means is you take a concealed carry class with us, you're getting just that, a concealed carry class. You're going to get what the South Carolina concealed carry permit requirements are for you to get the permit. And the reason why we do it that way is there's so much information that those of us that have the backgrounds we have want to give you, but we can't put that into a class at the same time cover everything that SLED wants you to have for a concealed carry permit. So for that reason, our concealed carry permit class is just a concealed carry permit class. We've got other classes that we'll talk about in other videos and other announcements that can help you along your journey, because we have a pathway we've created. But you also understand some safety and proficiency. In our concealed carry class, you're going to get a small amount of firearms use and safety, but it's not that much. It's this is just a bare minimum. There's a lot more to concealed carry than just concealed carry. In our class especially and why I think it's important to have a permit is to have some level of situational awareness training. In other words, we will talk about some scenarios in our class to say, hey, was this a good shoot or a bad shoot? And talk about it. Do a small AAR after each one of them. Simply because we want to stimulate that brain. With our class especially, we want to stimulate you so that way you understand a little bit about what that use of force thought process is. And the other thing too is every state's not the same. Some states that are constitutional carry, just because we're constitutional carry now, doesn't mean you can carry there. You really have to pay attention to that state's law, because some of the laws are written in a manner that it's constitutional carry for a resident. Well, just because you show up there in a hotel for the night, does that mean you're a resident? So that's where you have to really pay attention to what the law is. And I will tell you, is being a training counselor and instructor, a member and a partner for the United States Concealed Carry Association, or USCCA, one of the most important tools that they have that I use often is this app. I've got a kid that plays travel volleyball. We're all over the country. So what's the first thing I do? I pull up my phone, look at the app. Hey, what is the concealed carry requirements here? What is the sign requirements here? Is this a Castle Doctrine state? Things like that. So that is important information for you to have when you travel. But having that baseline concealed carry permit from South Carolina, for all of us South Carolina residents, why it's important too is there's about 30 plus states that have reciprocity with us. So having that reciprocity means your state permit is good there just like it is here. So why not have it? Other than the fact that some people just want to be hard-nosed and say, I don't have to have a permit, I'm not going to have a permit, or the proverbial, I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. And I get it in a lot of ways, I understand it. But why not have that level of protection by having some level of formalized training? One of the other points that you'll understand is in a permit class is the legal and ethical considerations. Understanding use of force, think about moral, ethical responsibilities. I'll tell you, if you can't leave the house in the morning physically, mentally, legally, and financially prepared, you cannot say you're ready to carry a firearm or a weapon for the day. If you can't answer those 4 things, being morally, legally, financially, and physically prepared, if you can't answer those 4 questions, you cannot say you are prepared to carry a firearm. Does constitutional carry teach you that? No. But at least taking some level of formalized class maybe will prompt you to say, you know what, I need to do something different. I need to try something different. We should always be learning. Being a professional. Being a professional doesn't come with a pay status. It means being able to flawlessly execute the basics. And concealed carry is a lifestyle. It's not a one and done kind of thing. One of the things in our concealed carry class that we'll talk about is personal and family safety plans. And we actually have an add-on class that we do for that, where how do you build that personal and family safety plan? The best defense to a fight is not to be in one. But all too often, people will take a concealed carry class and think they're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Well, it's even worse now with constitutional carry, because people will not have any training. There's no requirement for training. So there's a group of the population out there just running around carrying a firearm that doesn't have any formalized training. And honestly, I'm okay with some because of their backgrounds, but I'm scared for others because they have no dang clue of what they're doing. So last point. You don't have to have a background check done if you do a firearms transfer or a purchase, because the concealed carry permit's already done it for you. So if you're one of those collectors that, like for us at Amex Guns, the gun shop side, where people use us for transfers all the time. The beauty behind having a concealed carry permit is you do not have to have a background check. Yes, you do the ATF form 4473 to do your background, but you do not have to have that background check done. So that saves you time, saves you a little bit of effort, saves you a little bit of headache. So what's some key points? Again, I wanted to just throw a little quick video out this morning to explain constitutional carry and explain why our class is what it is. In our class, you're going to go over legal ramifications, legal requirements of use of force. You're going to understand the Castle Doctrine. You're going to understand laws that are specific to South Carolina, because again, we're a South Carolina-based company and doing South Carolina permits. But then you'll also understand the legal and regulatory requirements of when and where you can't carry, how you can carry. What does this mean? What does that mean? So there's a lot behind that. We'll talk about constitutional carry. We'll talk about some of the other things that is important. So come see us, CarolinaTacticalTraining.com. You can book all of our classes on there. Stay tuned to a couple other videos that's coming out shortly, because we're getting ready to do a price drop because the economy sucks for everybody. So we want to try to make sure there's a lot of people trained and prepared. But again, get the permit. Whether you get it from us, which I hope you do, because I would love to have you in our classes, get you a permit. Get it. So that way there's one more level of preparation, one more level of protection that you have available to you. So again, it is August 2024. This is Brad from Carolina Tactical Training. Hey, check us out at Carolina Tac Training on Instagram, Carolina Tac Training on Facebook. If you like this video and you want to see more of them, smash that subscribe button on the bottom, and let's continue this journey. We're going to be posting more videos, more tips and tricks, more interviews, and stay tuned for a podcast coming out that we're working on that's going to encompass gun-related items as well as training-related items. So until next time, take care, guys.